Hello and welcome to the Chasing Goals podcast, episode number 11. Super excited to be here. Coach Shane is here with Emily. How you going?
It's going good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm super excited to get you on, talk everything business, a little bit of everything fitness, and I guess we're just talking off air and how you kind of correlate the two and all that sort of thing. So super excited to get into it. But can you maybe just explain to the audience what you do, how you got there, and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I'll try and keep it as brief as possible. But if anyone does know me who's watching this, they're like, you could probably go on for days. My name is Emily Topping. I'm in England. I've just turned 31. I currently own two businesses. I used to have three, but I merged two together. One is a clothing brand, the other is a social media marketing, or as I call it, a creative consultancy business, because I do film and photography as well.
Yeah, cool.
I'm also a natural bodybuilder, so this was a new venture for me. I've been interested in bodybuilding for a long time, but beforehand I used to actually play football, do a lot of more cardiovascular sports. So this was quite a big change for me. Enjoying it. Currently in a really heavy bulk, and I'm loving all the food. So
you've been eating stacks. How good? You be feeling good?
Yeah.
Are you feeling good with the bulk?
You have to get really comfortable with being bigger. Like you just have to be really comfortable of like knowing that you're essentially overfeeding yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I guess people who don't like it's one of those trade-offs, isn't it? You've got to get a little bit bigger, put on a bit of, obviously you're trying to put on that muscle, but you've got to put on a little bit of fat. It's just kind of part and parcel, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Especially in female bodybuilding. Like it's just you have to do it for you to function. Like women do need fat in their systems as much as people tell them not to. It's kind of what you need to do. So like I'm enjoying it. I love the fact that I get to eat a lot of food. 2023 is going to be a whole different story, so I'm enjoying it now.
I was gonna say, I think I've been bulking for 31 years. I love food so much. No, but I want to maybe touch on how you kind of or did you always kind of want to be like run your own business and that sort of thing, or were you doing something and you all of a sudden you thought, no, I want to do something different? How did it kind of work?
No, see, I never noticed this, but apparently since I was a little kid, I just really was an entrepreneur. I had a paper round, and I would do extra tasks for my neighbors and stuff like that, like bring them milk and stuff like that, and then they'd give me extra money. Like I would sell. I would sell on the paper round. I'd be like, well, it's fine because if you can't get your milk, it's fine. I'm already going to the shop anyway. I might as well get it for you.
Yeah.
And I would just like do all that kind of stuff. And then in college, I made hoodies for everyone about like the different courses we were on. So I've always been interested in doing something, but never really thought that I could actually make a business out of it. And then like this is my company. It's called Emerge Elite, and I had not a podcast. I had a blog that was just documenting my weight loss journey because I was slightly overweight, not unhealthy, but slightly overweight in my early 20s. And I was documenting it, and I just thought, the whole thing I talked about on there was about taking yourself to the next level by being a better person today and tomorrow. Yeah. So, the blog was called Topping of the Cake, which I thought was just ironic, using my last name into it. And then this company was built out of it. I just wanted something to show. Like I wanted someone to be able to wear a t-shirt and just be like, you're not ripped, like you don't always have to be ripped. It's about being fit and healthy and doing something that's good for you. And that's what the entirety of the company is based around. And it still is today, And that's what I love about it. We're not trying to be anyone else. We're not trying to be Gymshark, and we're not trying to have all these like super big athletes on it. We're trying to build a community base of people who are just trying to be the best versions of themselves.
For sure. And I guess that's how good's that, like just the amount of people you could reach with that sort of goal. Not everyone can like dedicate so much time to go, to the gym and all that sort of stuff. But if they're just doing their best and trying to be healthy, that's awesome. How good.
It's insane. Like, especially over the last like 18 months, the sort of like the situations that I've been in and the people that I've met and the conversations that I've had with people that have been with us, like actual customers, like seeing me in the street. It's insane. It's another feeling. Like it's just someone turning around going, I really liked what you said about this. And I really like, because I document everything. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok,
Oh,
and I
awesome.
talk.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
talk crap all the time. It's
That's your,
just
your
part
jam.
of who I am. And people will be like, oh, you posted this on this day back in 2019. And I'm like, wow, even I don't remember that. I said it.
You got the real fans. You got the true fans happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane how my life has changed so much in such a short period of time. But the business has been going for 5 years. It's been running, but 6 years it's been incorporated.
Yeah.
So like we've been around for a while, but it's only in this last like 18 months, like post COVID,
Yeah. Okay.
it's gone crazy. And I can't believe that this is where I am now.
No, well, congratulations. That's awesome to hear. And it's kind of, I guess, a good probably story or a good thing to tell people is like that you're not gonna, or like obviously some people might start a business and it might crush straight away, but I feel like a majority of it is the first 2-3 years you've really got to put your head down, grind, and then build that brand or whatever you're building, and then you probably will find like see the results a little bit later down the track. I don't think it's going to be instantaneous.
Yeah.
Is that how you kind of?
Yeah, and I'm like that with everyone. I say
Yeah.
it with everyone. I'm just like to me, I speak so much about foundational pieces. So I'm like, if you're going to essentially build a house, you wouldn't just start putting bricks on the floor. Like you've got to build those foundations. You've got to put that concrete layer in. You've got to put the stability in. That takes time.
Yeah.
Like being able to build a business that nobody knows about, even a brand, even if it's a personal brand, a fitness brand, a clothing company, whatever it is, you need to get really solid with those foundations, make sure that your ethos is correct, your movement is correct, and being willing to work without anyone patting you on the back and no one saying, you're doing a great job, like just keep going.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're doing it, but cool, let's go. Like it's people get this weird concept that you just open up a business and it does great.
Yeah. Which is not
Everyone's doing it. Like everyone's doing it, everyone's posting their flashy cars and big watches and stuff like that, and then it's like, but actually their company doesn't do anything.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's it. And well, it's good. I think it's good that people have people like you that are actually giving real advice of like what it's like opening a business, and it's good that you've been documenting that. Like that, obviously that fan that came up and said you did this in 2019. That's just showing. Yeah. She's followed your journey, so she's seen how hard you've worked, or whatever it was, how hard you've worked and the journey, and now it's kind of coming full circle, and you're crushing it by all reports.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great. I literally just show my life to everyone. That's what I do.
We might as well touch on that now. I guess the social media part of it and how important I guch that is, which should probably would kind of tie in with your clothing brand and that sort of stuff. But what is your kind of thoughts on social media, and how would people, I guess, A, market with no budget, and then maybe B, how would they go with with a budget?
So social media is really whatever you deem it to be. So like there's a lot of people that think social media is the devil. And I'm like, no, it's how you use social media, because there's still going to be that content that you don't agree with. There's going to be that, those conversations you don't want to be in, it's going to happen. Social media has like something like 4.3 billion users a day on a singular platform. Okay. So, social media is so vast.
But
the thing about it is that you can do what you want with it. So when I started, and I've spoken about this on a YouTube episode once, when I first started, I was trying to be that gym rat, that kind of like eat your veggies and like lift heavy weights and do all that sort of stuff. And I was doing completely the opposite. Like I was like literally lifting all these heavy weights, not eating at all, doing 3 hours of cardio a day, just to keep 6-pack abs. And I was like, it's ridiculous. What am I doing? I was lying to my entire audience, but I looked incredible. I looked amazing. And I didn't really care. I was getting the validation that I wanted at that time.
Yeah.
So like the first thing that I do with clients is I always go through what fundamentally, what do you want out of this? Like, because social media is a job. Like if you are to post 3 to 5 times a week, talk to a bunch of people, because it's not, It's not posting anymore. Social media is not posting. It's engagement. It's talking to people. It's making sure that you're actually building that foundation of trust. No one is going to invest in you if they don't trust you.
Yeah. No.
So how are they going to trust you? It's by being authentic. It's about being open about what you're trying to do. Even if you are trying to sell them a t-shirt, at least be honest about it.
Yeah.
I want your money, like at the end of the day, I want you to wear this in your gym. That is why I'm trying to sell it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
I guess
It's like, stop acting like it's not.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I feel like that could be a thing. I guess just being yourself is probably the best thing to do. Don't you think? As you said, you were kind of, I guess, maybe posting what you thought people wanted to see, and I guess you were getting the validation. But maybe as you've gone and just started posting what you actually are, that's when the people have kind of been like, I relate to this person,
Yeah, like when I started, like before even Emerge Elite was an idea, I just like was fake and just I hated being on social media because I was looking at all this content that I didn't want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Then I started being myself. Then the company opened, and I remember having this conversation with an ex-partner of mine, and I was like, I don't want to be a personal brand. I want to open up a business, but I don't want anyone to know it's mine. Like
Yeah.
I'll work on it. I'll do this. I'll do that. 5-6 years down the line, everyone knows it's mine.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, everyone knows it's me. Like people will walk up to me in the gym and just be like, hey, Em, how's it going? I saw that you did this the other day. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did, didn't I?
So good.
Like it was one of those, there was no way of me going about it because the people, well, my audience, everyone wanted to know, you're trying, especially with my background on what I wanted the company to be, I wanted a community.
Yeah.
It's hard to have a community if there's not someone trying to build it. Like it can't just be a bunch of models.
Yeah. I get you.
So like it needed to be someone. So I took it and I was just kind of like, okay, cool. Well, we'll do this then.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why anyone wants to know more about my life, but here we are.
That's great. So I guess how did it kind of the business sort of progress? And what were your sort of what was the initial phase? Were you kind of doing everything, and then as you've grown, you've kind of got people on board? How did it kind of grow from? I guess what people don't understand as well when you're starting a business is you're everything to that business. You're doing the accounts, your social media, your sales, you're doing everything. How did that go? And then when did you kind of transition, say, I'm actually not so good at this, or I need some help there? How did that kind of happen?
Yeah, so between 2017 and 2019, it was all pretty much me, and everything was done. Even the photography was done by me. The advertising was done by me. I had someone who helped me get the clothing, so helped me source a supplier and stuff like that. So that was brilliant because when she left, I didn't realize how hard it was. Like I didn't realize how hard it was to literally get t-shirts made up and them not go through like 3 or 4 samples before you're like, yep, okay, that's perfect. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the beginning it was just me, and I had the help with suppliers and stuff. In 2019, we had a little bit of a blow up and we did really, really well. And like, it was like 0 to 100. And it was like, suddenly I went from making maybe 2 sales a month to making like 25 in a day. And I was just like,
wow,
what do I do with this? I have no idea. So in my head, I was like, well, I'm running out of clothing. I don't have anything to give anyone. So I literally jumped on getting, I think at this point it was the joggers, the tank tops, the sports bras, crop tops, and some new t-shirts. So it was quite a lot of clothing, and it was a lot of an investment to put into.
Yeah.
And then the second I pressed that big red button to pay for all of those clothing, we went into lockdown.
Oh, no.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Clothing got stuck. I couldn't get into places. I lost all the money that I made because like from import fees and stuff like that. I didn't deal with it very well, massive learning curve as a business owner, but as a person, I was like, I have no money and I also have no clothes to sell to people because I can't get them out. I can't do anything with them.
Yeah.
So the whole period of that was just awful.
Yeah.
When we came out the back of that, I was like, right, okay, I'm in debt now. You know, I've gone from making decent money off this company.
Yeah.
I'm now in debt. I was like, this is great. This is exactly where you want to be, you know. And I gave myself 1 year. I said, I'll give myself 1 year to go make all the money back, whether that's through photography, through my day job, you know, like whatever I needed to do, save all the money and get myself out of debt. We did that 3 months earlier than I predicted.
Oh, great.
So I then invested all of that money into a new launch, and it was called Be Unapologetically You. And it went through the entire thing. It went through how I incorporated the company, how I felt about it, the beginning of it, mental health problems that I'd gone through, you know, the stresses of having a business, getting out of the other side. And that, I think that was one of the biggest turning points. Like the company just blew up. Like it was like people could find something that they could relate to.
Yeah, that's great.
And it was insane. And then like literally, I think it was like mid this year, I was like, I can't do this on my own anymore. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm printing orders out here. I'm packing over here. You know, I've all got my other businesses going on. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing really. I was like, so luckily it just was like, you know, stars aligned or whatever people want to say. And there's a woman who works in the gym that I train at. And she was saying, well, you know, I'm trying to get into being like a PA and doing like more social media stuff and kind of like investing myself in other places. And I just was like, you're hired. Whatever it is, you're hired. And she's been a godsend, you know, like 95% of the time, because I'm not the best employer because I'm so busy that she's lucky to get a phone call with me sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
But, you know, she deals with anything, probably customer service, you know, like she's got her own email address, so if anything needs dealing with, it's, you know, it can be scooted over to her. All the social media she does now, and, you know, takes that away. So all I have to do is I have someone who helps me pack orders as well when we get really busy. Pack orders, design work, and accounting, and that's it. And it's just where I realized that social media was such a big thing, because once it was taken away from me, I was like, wow, all this free time, what do I do?
Yes.
Like, oh my god, I can do something else.
Yeah. It is such a big thing, isn't social media? Because when you think about, like, that's what I always think about when we like to do some social media. It's like, all right, we've got Facebook, and then we've got Instagram, then you've got YouTube, and you've got LinkedIn. By the time you go through all the platforms and you do 2-3 posts, you're like, oh, this is just too much.
Like, you just like, you wonder how you did it before, like, because I've not paid for any targeted ads. I've not paid for anything on Google or Facebook for the best part of a year.
Oh yeah. Oh, how good's that? So it's all organic growth.
Yeah, it's all organic, but it's because I built my entire business on social media. I built my entire business without really doing ads. The only ads that I usually do is for other clients, because, you know, the market's so oversaturated, especially in the clothing industry. I was kind of like, what am I going to be able to do that's different? And the thing is, the difference is that I talk to people. I can't do that through an ad. I can't do it. So what's the point of wasting my money on it? So I was just like, okay, we'll just talk to everyone all day, every day.
All day, every day. And so are you talking, is that when you're engaging on, like, by talking to people, is that online? You're talking to people, like, engaging through comments and that sort of stuff? Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah, so 95% of my stuff is probably done through like comments and DMs, and sort of like Instagram's kind of my place. It's where I feel like I can get a better conversation out of people.
Yeah.
It's just there's more to it. And but then I post loads of content on like TikTok and stuff like that. But a weird thing that I do, and I don't know why it's worked, so, you know, no one can call me some creative genius or whatever, because I have no idea how this happened either, but I just create content. Like sometimes I'm literally sat there in a hat talking to a camera, and someone will go, oh, where'd you get that hat from? And I was like, oh, ironically, it's my own company.
Yeah, okay.
And they'll be like, we didn't even know that you owned one. And I was like, yeah, because I don't talk about it on here.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. How good's that?
Yeah, it's really ironic, you know, where like people a lot, I mean, from the circle that I know, are all like, you have to sell all the time, sell. It's the one thing I don't do really. I don't really sell. I just talk to people, because I'm like, if they want to buy my t-shirts or if they want to buy something from me, that's amazing. I love that, because then you're like part of this community that I'm building. But at the same time, I actually want to know what training you're doing. I actually want to know how you're doing. I actually want to invest into you.
Yeah.
That's part of my company. That's what I wanted to do this company for. This is just something else. The clothing that comes from it, that's just something else. That's a bonus. Like, my fundamentally is it building a community, and that's what I'm doing. And I've got to talk to people, which obviously, as you're finding out, it's not a problem.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I guess that's a real good takeaway. The importance. I had someone on it, I can't remember who it was, but just the importance of community when I guess building anything, but either whether you're training and the community, like the community, get like the community vibes you get when you're training, or when you're building a business, and just how important that community is. And it seems like you're just doing that so well.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Number one community person right here.
Basically, serial talker.
Well, did you want to kind of transition over to your fitness kind of journey, your gym stuff, but then maybe how you kind of, you were talking about how you correlate that business and training, and how you look at it kind of the same way?
Yeah. So obviously, natural bodybuilder, hoping to compete next year. I always say natural bodybuilder slightly loosely, because I haven't yet competed, and I'm sometimes like, don't take the title if you've not stepped on the stage.
Yeah.
The plan is to compete, so it's not like I'm doing the whole thing. Like, I do plan to step on stage next year. We're just currently building the muscle in order to get there.
Yeah.
I've always been in fitness. I've always done some sort of sport. So when I was young, I played football. I used to love playing football. And then it moved into like running. I remember at one point I used to run half marathons for fun. And I really think that there was a problem. I don't like running now. Like, I mean, it's harder now because of my injuries, but like, I really don't like running. So I don't know how I did that for like 3-4 years. I'd just go, oh, it's a nice morning, I'll just go for a 13.2 mile run, because that's normal.
Well, on that, my mate, his name's Flash. Shout out to my man Flash. He did a half marathon every week for the year, and I was just like, "What? Why? What are you doing? What are you doing?" So on that, I'm like, "What?" So when you were just talking about, it, I'm like, "Why? Why do you do that to yourself?"
I'd be that person in the corner going, "Yay!"
Well done. But sorry, sorry, go on.
But then I went through in 2017. I was like, I'm building this business, like I'm doing this. Can't build a fitness business if you're not really into fitness.
Mm.
So it was when I really got invested into weight training and lifting. And that was when I was attempting to bodybuild before. But I had no coach. I had no direction. I was getting everything from Google, Dr. Google, best thing in the world. Doing it all wrong. Like, look at it now. Like, I look at me in a bulk now and what I considered a bulk before. And I'm like, wow, I'm really glad you didn't make it on stage, because you would have looked ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. And what was that? What was the learning there? What was kind of the difference? What were you doing beforehand that was?
Food is fuel for the first thing. Like, I was trying to go into a bulk thinking that I could stay the same weight and get bigger. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Apparently my brain thought that was perfect.
You find out, let me know.
Yeah, I know, right? So like, I was trying to bulk on like maintenance calories, not really any sort of like isolation movements, like bodybuilding is aesthetics at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So like, I was still just doing squats, deadlift, and bench, and just being like, that'll do. It hits all areas. Not thinking that, I need to do my rear delts, because I need to be able to open up my lats and my shoulder blades and stuff to be able to give that figure. And I was just, and it was just, I did it because I was like, this is going to be good for my business, instead of thinking this is what you want to do.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
So I was in decent shape, but I was a lot smaller. So I thought I was bulking. I wasn't. I was just small. And then I got so lean that I was in the gym one day, reached up to get the lat pull down, hernia popped out,
You kidding?
umbilical hernia. Yeah. And then literally one of the guys was looking at me and he was like, that just popped out of your stomach.
Oh
and I was like,
gosh.
oh, this thing, yeah, it's fine. And like literally they were like, no, it goes in when you put your arms down, it comes out when your arms go up.
That's a hernia.
Yeah. So then I didn't realize that during this period of time, I thought I might be like, have some gluten issues or some dairy issues, anything like that. Because every time I would eat any food, I would feel sick. Like it wouldn't
Okay.
be sick, it wouldn't be sick as in like, oh my God, I can't do that anymore. But just a little bit queasy.
Yeah,
And I got so used to it that I didn't think anything of it. Not until I went to the doctor and he was like, no. He said it's because this hernia keeps moving. Like it's your intestines are out of place. So, if it comes out and then your muscles tighten, you could literally like cut off the supply to a piece of intestine, which is a big deal. You don't want to do that. So I had to go and get surgery on it.
Yeah,
so
they
that
take it out. Is that what they do?
No. They put I've not got mesh. So normally with hernia surgery, especially umbilical hernia surgery, normally put a mesh in front of your stomach, and and you have to get it changed. I think it's every 10 to 15 years. Don't fact check me on that because I don't actually know. But this time what he did was he shredded part of my muscle and pulled it over.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I was so lean, I was lean and had pretty much a six-pack anyway.
Yeah.
I was in shape. So he was like, well, you've got loads of muscle. He says, I'm just going to use this muscle and pull it over. And then he says, you don't need to have surgery again unless I get a hernia again. Yeah. So we're trying to stop that. So yeah, my whole bodybuilding dreams were like shattered, and as I was devastated, obviously.
Oh no, back to eating food. Oh no.
Yeah. And then I went through a period after that of where because I couldn't go to the gym, I couldn't do something. I found out that the gym was kind of like a safety blanket for me to like go and do some sort of sport, kind of kept me quite mentally stable, especially when I was opening up businesses. I was doing film and photography. I was working as a vet nurse at the time. Like life was busy.
Yeah.
I mean, that has not changed, but I wasn't handling it very well. And because I didn't have anything to do, I then got burnout. I was hospitalized once with burnout, which was fun. Just stress, anxiety, they said at one point they thought I had a panic disorder. At the time I was like, oh yeah, definitely that is it. No, it's not. I just had bad anxiety. I just like would worry about things before they were actually happening. And because I didn't have a safety blanket of the gym to go to, I had to sit with my own thoughts. And sometimes that's not the best thing.
Nah, well, that's also another. People love going to the gym, and that's another good reason for the gym is that it is like one, I guess you feel good afterwards, but two, whilst you're there, it's also a social thing, and you people are happy and chatting. They're working hard, but it's good as like a community feel, like that sort of stuff, and that's why the gym not only it's good for your your body and your health and stuff, it's good mentally as well.
Oh, it's amazing for your mental health. Like to even just to focus on something, to focus on what you're doing, to feel the connection to your own muscle, to your own body is like, I don't think people sometimes understand how amazing that is. Like, especially like as I'm bodybuilding, being able to feel my tricep move, to be able to feel my bicep move and be like, you built this, you did this is like work.
Yeah.
And it's not like an egotistical thing. It's kind of like an enjoyment of being able to be like, I'm working hard and here's my reward.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, that's great. And then who's your kind of coach, and what's kind of the I guess the goal, I guess is it like putting on weight, putting on muscle for the end of the year, and then how long will you cut for before I guess going into the show, or have you got that far?
Well, we've got as far as we can because none of the cards, at least that I know, have been released yet for next year. So I don't actually know when they're going. So we know that the season, I think, runs between April and October. So there's actually quite a significant period of time. We could keep bulking all the way to April and then only do the season at the end and kind of had like 2-3 weeks that are going to probably be a bit mental. my coach is called Warren Mann. He is amazing. He has moved into online coaching, into this sort of world. He's bodybuilded himself, I think, for about 10 years. I want to say between 8 to 10 years. He's been a personal friend of mine for most of that time. And when I ruptured my Achilles, him and one of his business partners, Connor Sharp, they invested so much into me to get me back to full strength, to be able to put weight through this leg. So not only was it like my amazing physio, which is called Go Perform, the work that I did, like I put on 15 kilograms when I ruptured my Achilles because I couldn't walk, I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. So I was like, and I still like my food, Shane. I still like it.
The Achilles. So how did it kind of happen? And then what kind of, I guess, how did you come? Because that's obviously one of the biggest probably things you can do. How did you kind of, come back from that?
So I decided after my, epic fail of being a bodybuilder that I'd go back into being a footballer. So I started playing Sunday league football, just it was a terrible decision because I wasn't, one, fit enough to do it, and two, I hate warming up, I hate getting ready, and then didn't realize that, I'm 28 years old. Something could go wrong
That's
if you don't warm up properly.
That is honestly my nightmare. Anyone of my, because I'm 31, and then like any one of my mates are kind of just come back and want to, I just want to play one game of footy or a game of basketball. I'm like, oh God, it's a recipe for disaster if you haven't done any training or anything and just going back, not going from any sort of fast twitch movements, sprinting, like change of direction, this, that, and then just going out and doing it. And I'm like, we're not 20 anymore. We got to like prepare for this.
Yeah. So it's like, I love being able to tell the story because, some people are like, oh, was it a dramatic tackle or did you do this or did you do that? No, I was a goalkeeper and I decided to run forward to get the ball and it snapped.
That's bad.
And it took me by surprise. It sounded like a gunshot. So apparently that's very common for how it sounds like. I've never personally, except for my own, heard of a story like it before.
Yeah.
And then I just tried to get up and then the ref's running over to me being like, no, stay still. You need to stay still.
Yeah.
And I had no pain, nothing. So I was literally sat there like, why can I not use my leg? Like, can someone tell? I've broken bones before, so I know what that feels like.
So there was no pain at all? Or like
no pain. It felt like very bad pins and needles from the bottom of my calf all the way down to my toes.
Yeah, okay. Weird.
So yeah, it felt like, when you hit your funny bone.
Yeah.
Felt like that.
That's so strange.
Yeah, and I was just sat there and then everyone's crowded around me and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Like, and my whole body was going into shock, like it's shaking and I'm sat there like, guys, I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, that's how I ruptured my Achilles. And I remember because I thought I was being a pansy because I was sat in A&E and there's a guy across from me who's ruptured his Achilles as well. And he is crying.
Oh,
he's crying, he's screaming in pain. He's getting all of these drugs and stuff. And I'm sat there being like, I bet you I pulled a muscle. I bet you that's what I've done. I've pulled a muscle in my in my calf or something. And they're going to tell me that I'm being really silly. I've never moved through the hospital quicker when they actually palpated where the Achilles was meant to be.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, it's gone. And I was like, all of it?
Because it doesn't snap and then it runs up your calf, doesn't it? Is that how it works? Yeah.
So it's just because obviously it's just like, it just literally your tendons and your ligaments are just stretchy.
Yeah.
So they're always stretched. So like the second it goes, it just pings up to where it come from.
Yeah.
So so I had a bit that was wrapped around the bottom of my ankle and the rest of it was up in there. Well, not all of it. I ruptured, they predict about 65% of it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
So I still got a little bit.
But yeah, still not good. And then how did you kind of like, what was because I'm pretty sure, isn't it like a 12-month recovery or something along those lines? 8 to 12 months or something?
Yeah, you should be walking like okay by about 6 months.
Yeah.
then you should be able to actually put some weight through it by 12 months. And by 2 years, you should be able to go back to training. Um,
2 years.
but yeah, so it's a long recovery period. And also mine was conservative, so they decided to not reattach it. So it was even long, well, like parts of it was even longer, like just the little parts of like being able to actually get up on my feet again, because I didn't have it reattached. So they were really, really tentative about being like, well, you've only got 35% left, so let's not push it.
Yeah. And how long ago was this? Like, I guess, how did that kind of impact any business or like any, like, obviously your well-being and that sort of stuff? Was that?
Oh, it affected my entire life. I can't believe that something so little, like in the grand scheme of things of like my entire life in general, I was like, how is being in a boot, which I could still walk in the boot, I was
Yeah.
just in a boot. I was like, how is this like taking over my entire life? My mental health went to absolute
Yeah.
crap. Like I couldn't function anymore. I couldn't think. I was like, because I was such a get up and go. Let's go do
Yeah.
this. Let's
Yeah.
go walking. Let's go for a run. Let's go do this. And like, so it was just gone. And it was just gone. And I was just sat at home the entire time. And I was watching people just walking in and out of my house. And I was just sat there on the bed, and they'd leave and then they'd come back and I'd still be sat on this bed.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I doing? What's my point now?
Yeah. That'd have been
And
tough.
like this was the point. I've got businesses, I've got a social
Yeah.
media business, I've got my film and photography business. So I couldn't do any film and photography. So I had to refund all of the people that I already had in.
Yeah.
Um, the only perk that came from it is that it happened in 2019 at the end. So it happened, I think it was on the, so it happened in September 2019.
Yeah.
That was the only bonus, because 6 months later we were stuck in COVID.
Oh,
So no one could go anywhere, which was a plus and a negative, because obviously mine was, I had to go to the hospital. I had to go and get my ankle checked.
yeah.
So that was the only positive out of it, is that I could still go and actually get treated.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, like it was mental, because everything just stopped. My entire world just stopped. And I realized that I've been a very much get up and go sort of person my entire life. And that was the injury that made me go, I need to step back. I need to realize, what do I actually want to do? Where do I want to go? And fundamentally, who do I want to be?
Yeah.
Like, do I want to be this person who's just go, go, go all the time and not making time for friends, for family, for this, for that, because I'm too busy doing business?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or do I want to be someone else? And yeah, like that, the last 3 years, because obviously it's just gone past the 3-year anniversary now.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Such a mental curve. And like finding out like what I actually prioritize and what, like how fragile things can be. Because I had it, like, I mean, when I say that I'm open and honest on social media, a couple of, was it days ago? It might have been a week ago. I posted one of my check-ins, like it's just me posing. I do it all the time to show people that being in a bulk is not bad. Like being bigger is not bad. You're not always at stage weight.
Yeah.
And my ankle started going. So sometimes I get pins and needles still through the feet.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's like a switch. And I started crying and I just couldn't keep it together.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow. I was like, it gave me that reality that even though we're 3 years on, that ankle could go at any time.
Yeah.
And then, and I was like, I'm not going back in the boot.
Take my foot, not the boot.
Exactly. But like this is why I put business and fitness so close together now, because I'm really lucky with where I can be with my fitness, but also it really has helped it has helped my business, my fitness. So it's like people have watched me go through that entire journey. They watched me go from borderline anorexic in my early 20s to then overweight, to then a bodybuilder, to then rupturing my Achilles, hernia, burnout, then 15 kilograms heavier, and now, like literally, and seeing me lose all that weight after injury, going through that process. Now I've put most of that weight back on because I'm in a bulk, but I look so different. Like I don't look like someone who's put 7 kilograms back on. Like I've got big shoulders, a bigger back. my quads, I never thought I could build quads like I've got now. They're nothing, they're not Chris Bumstead's, they're not anything amazing, but they're mine and I built them.
You built them. That's right. That's
So,
yeah. Well, I guess maybe when you look back on it years down the track, it could be something that Achilles tear kind of changed your life type thing. It changed. If you could have been just spinning the wheels and just going go go go, and not and for me, I run a business and that sort of stuff, but I want to have fun. That's my kind of thing. I want to hang with my mates, hang with my family, see my my niece and nephew, that sort of stuff. So I guess if you and it can consume you. Business can if you're always thinking about, like, sometimes I'll wake up at 3 a.m. for no reason, and be like, did I do that thing? And you're like, well, what can you do now? It's 3 a.m. So maybe hopefully that it could be a thing to kind of turn your kind of life trajectory in a different way, and a better one.
Yeah, I mean, it really did. It did in a sense, because in 2019 I was earning a lot more money. Like, my businesses were doing really, really well. I was like, left, right, and center, new clients and stuff. And it was great. Like, fundamentally, I'm never going to turn around and say 2019 was like the worst year ever. I'm never going to say that. But it was incredibly eye-opening and humbling to be like, look at everything that I had. And then it was gone.
Yeah.
It was all gone. And then I'm coming out of COVID in like £11,500 of debt. And it's just like that is something that, like, now I'm a different person now, because I'm reminded myself, like, at that point I was like, okay, you can either sit here, feel sorry, take no accountability of where you are right now, or you can screw your freaking head back on and figure out, what do you actually do this for? Like, why do you take photography? Why do you work the hours that you do? Why do you want a clothing business? Why do you want to talk to people? Like, what are you doing it for? Because it's like, it's not money, because the money never made me happy. So I was like, what else is it? And then I found out it was the people, it was the journey, it was being able to have these conversations with people, hearing other people's injury stories and how they overcame them. I sit there in awe. Like, I'm just kind of like, this is one girl, she might watch this, I don't know. She's gone through like cancer at a young age, and she's beaten it, and now she's she's on her way to get back into good shape and stuff like that. And she said I was an inspiration, and I was like, no, I'm not. You're an inspiration. Look at the freaking stuff that you've just done. Like, I was like, I could have got an artificial leg probably.
Oh, that's awesome. And I guess that's what happens when you build a community. That's awesome. Did you want to maybe? I got a couple of questions, just a couple of quick ones. Just if you, I just thought of them just before we jumped on. But if you wanted to meet 3 like business people, who would they be?
Gary Vaynerchuk would definitely be my first one.
Gary V. I used to, well, obviously as business people, we love Gary V, don't we?
Yeah, no. He's like amazing. I'd also like to meet Max Tuning.
Okay.
Who Ever Forward, Evidence of Sour Strips.
Oh yeah.
He's a big YouTuber. Like, he is the sort of person that I kind of model myself off as how authentic he is with everything. It's not kind of like, it's not scripted. His life isn't scripted. He just lets you in on his journey with him, and he's really honest, and I just really, really like that. And then probably my last one would be Tony Robbins.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, so I really like him. I like the way he thinks. I like that he has such a wide spectrum of thought process that he can go through. Like, he can look at things from so many different angles. I like that.
Yeah, okay. He's got monster hands apparently as well. Have you heard that?
He's not a small bloke in general. Like, he's like, isn't he like 6 foot something?
Yeah. And then that's awesome. And I guess that kind of just gives a little insight into who you've kind of, because that's another question, like who you've learned from, and how you've kind of, like, Gary Vee's obviously one person that if you're starting a business, he's great to learn from, because he kind of tells it how it is, and he gives people tips on, what to do and how to start and all that sort of stuff. So that's good. And then the next one, if in the gym, three people. They can be, I guess, dead or alive, but who you'd like to would want to train with if you had the opportunity
In the gym.
in the gym. So
So
like,
mine would be really varied because
Oh.
I like a lot of sports.
well, that's the thing. It could be sports people. It could be gym people, whoever you want.
Yeah. So I think my first one would be Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq.
Yeah, I'd love to be honest, I'd love just to be around him.
Ah.
Just to be like he's such a pinnacle person in the NBA. And like I used to play basketball, but not any significance, but used to I mean, I'm nearly 5'11, so
Yeah.
I'm quite tall. It worked. But I really appreciated the sport when I lived in America. So like, because it's big over there. So
Yeah.
I would love to meet him for just, again, more the entirety of him as a person. And also, I think it would be really fun to train with him.
Yeah, he's so good. I love Shaq. Shaq and Charles together are so funny.
Yeah. And then my second one would probably be the England Lionesses captain, Leah Williamson.
Yep.
She's fantastic. I mean, if anyone knows the background of Leah, like she was born to be a captain. She was born to always be up at that level. She's a fantastic human being, like in general, like her work ethic, her presence and stuff like that is fantastic. Would love to train with her because she also takes no shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's a hard worker, so I'd be able to do the whole not my leg though, I'd be able to do that, but I'd I'd love to be able to like kick the ball though.
I'd do it with you, but my leg got to be right.
Yeah, like my work ethic is amazing, but you want me to run? Sorry, it's my leg.
Okay, that's two.
And then last would probably be, I'm trying to think of like a more gym person, like someone I look up to. Actually, probably, and I'm gonna send this to her when it goes out. So when I started bodybuilding, I am not the most feminine woman in the world, and learning to walk in heels and pose in a bikini was very, very difficult. So there's a woman called Hannah Mitchell. She's also known as Hannah's Health on Instagram. I have to, hands down, give that woman so much credit of confidence and sass and everything that she's given me. She's also an absolute beast in the gym. I watch all of her stuff on Instagram. She's a natural bodybuilder as well. She's in the figure category. And she only lives like in Birmingham, and I would die to train with her for just one day to just know what it's like to absolutely throw yourself into hell. Because she does, you see it in her sessions, like she accepts hell. Yeah. And then she just gets out the other side and she's just like, mint.
I loved it.
And she's incredible. Like I hope it's going to happen one day, but yeah, as someone who I look up to
and then send it to her, and then then you're in.
Yeah, definitely. But she's incredible as a person in general. Like she's really, really good.
Awesome. And I guess the other question I asked before we kind of wrap up, and I'll let you kind of finish off what we like with anything else you want to speak about or whatever. And this is how I got you on the show, is I asked someone, or I asked the people that come on, who do you think would be good for the podcast? But you have to try and get them on for us.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember, when I was watching Jess's episode, I was like, she put me in, and I was like, I'm gonna have to think people now, because I would have chosen Jess.
I was like, shout out to Jess. Thanks for getting you on.
Yeah. I'd have two people. I think one would be harder to get on than the other. So we'll go with two, because then the numbers are in our favor. There would be Hannah Mitchell. Hannah Mitchell, who's Hannah's Health, who is my posing coach. 100% would definitely get her on. She was figure champion last year. So she'd be incredible to talk to, especially about her viewpoint on training and on bodybuilding and how she manages her full-time job and stuff. With all the food, with all the training and the lifestyle. Like her concept of everything is just amazing. She doesn't beat around the bush with people, she's very honest, amazing. And then the second would be the owner of the gym that I train at. He's called John Berry. Yep. He actively competed a while ago, I'm gonna say, but like the man is an inspiration. Like he he's so invested into everyone around him, and he's built this incredible gym, and it's got loads of amazing people in it, all on the same journey. Like, I'm not even coached by him, but he's always a good person because my coach lives away from me. He lives 3.5 hours away from me.
Yeah.
John is such a lovely person to be able to lean on when I'm not doing so great, or like I'm training and I'm like, John, this doesn't feel right. Like, and the knowledge that he has around training and how you should approach training it's crazy. Like, training with him and training with the people that he's taught to train.
Yeah.
You go to another level. Like, it's just, it's hell, but it's another level.
Yeah, for sure. That's I like that's like why I kind of started this, and like, 'cause I've got a gym just under the podcast studio. I've got a gym downstairs and that sort of stuff, and I've always kind of been into. I used to like wrestling back in the day, and just to see some of those dudes and how big they were and how athletic, I was like, how is that even possible? And then ever since then, it's just been something. So to be able to talk to people like John and Hannah and that and yourself and all that, so it's been great. But thank you for that. Did you want to finish off? Just any other final words or anything you want to say, or any like tips or advice for people that are looking to start a business, get into the gym, or
I guess my main thing for anyone who has lasted this long, is always stay true to what you want, not what other people are telling you to do. There's a lot of like leeway and stuff, and especially if you're getting coached and stuff in the fitness industry, make sure that you choose a coach that you trust, and not just with your training, with your health, with your mental health as well. Warren is my therapist, like, when I have a bad day, he knows about it. And if he doesn't know about it, he watches my training and he knows about it.
Yeah.
Like he it's, I think sometimes coaches, because I'm not a coach, like, it's cool to come on podcasts and, like, especially like fitness based ones, but I'm not a coach. I would not coach people because I don't think I could do it. But I don't think coaches get as much credit as they should for the entirety of what they do.
Yeah.
And then in business, that's where I definitely think, always stay focused on what you want to achieve at the end of the day. Yeah. Try not to get wrapped up into this society now where it's more flaunt it instead of work for it. I do think, and it's a controversial thing to say, I do think that our generation and the generations that have come after us have lost that tenacity that people had in like the 70s and 80s. Like when my mum and dad were growing up, they just had to work, like, in order to get things. Like, my mum and dad told me a story that always stays with me all the time. When they bought their first house, inflation rates were 15%. And also they had to choose between if they had tea or coffee, like, and they could only heat one room in the house at the beginning because they had no money. And it was just like, sometimes I think we forget our way in that, because it's being pushed upon us that you need the new Nikes, you need this, you need that. And that's why I think my business, as much as it is a product business, I make money from what I sell. Fundamentally, it's the people. Like, I would hate someone to buy something if they could not afford it.
Yeah. For sure.
It's not going to change the way that I talk to people. It's not going to change the conversations that I have and how much I invest into people. So, like, I really wish that people would get a better work ethic in the entirety of their lives and not just what they present to everyone else.
Yeah. Nah, for sure. Awesome message. Thanks so much for coming on. I'll wrap it up now. Nah, no worries. There it is, everyone. Episode number 11 in the books. Hope you had a great time. We'll see you on the next episode. See you later.